Shalom. I want to give all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ha, Racha, Chadash, Mama. Double honors to the elder apostles and the elders of GMS. Double honors to my elder of this camp, Aharawan Ban Yasharala. Salutations to the sincere Akim, pushing his truth and sincerity around the four corners of this earth. I'm Nakar Kharab Ban Yasharala, coming out of the Lions Den camp of Yasharala here in Jacksonville, Florida. Now today I'll be coming out with a lesson. The title of it is Practice What You Preach, or make sure that we are practicing what we preach, and make sure that you are practicing what you preach, because you got a lot of supposed teachers out here, a lot of false camp leaders and a lot of, apologetics and these Christendom and all this other stuff. They don't really practice what they preach. So, what I'm saying, I just was bringing this little quick lesson out, practice what you preach, or at least try to walk according to Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai to the best of your ability. And the true men of the Lord we are practitioners of what we teach. We make sure that we try to do our best at following Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. But like I said before, you got a lot of false teachers who don't practice what they preach. They don't practice it. They say one thing and they do another, and you can tell, like, when it comes down to it, like, they're not living the words that they're reading out of this book of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. But without further ado, let's get right into it. I'm gonna start at verse 19 of Sirach chapter 1. It says, "Wisdom raineth down skill and knowledge of understanding, and exalted them to honor that hold her fast." See, the wisdom of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai is going to rain down the skill and the knowledge of the understanding of this word. You're going to be equipped with how to bring this word out the right way, and how to use this word strategically, and insert where you can, and build where you're supposed to build at. And the Lord, that wisdom is going to rain down on you, so it'll give you the skill and the understanding to be able to use this knowledge. And once you hold on to wisdom, it'll exalt you, to those who hold on her fast, meaning keep her close to you. It'll exalt you, meaning you'll gain more understanding in this truth. You won't be, we'll say, stagnant, or you won't fall over various things of the scriptures, like something that's always being brought up, so even though it's like little faint echoes, but like the little rape doctrine thing, and Cornelius being the Israelite, for those who don't practice what they preach, for those who are not walking according to the scriptures or truly believe, things like that trip them up, and they don't hold on to wisdom, so they don't get exalted. They don't get built up in the faith. They don't get built up in the knowledge of the wisdom and the understanding of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, because they're not holding wisdom fast. So therefore, they don't gain the true understanding and the knowledge on how to build upon the foundation of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. So thus, they don't practice what they preach. I'm going to jump down to my point. Verse 29 of Sirach chapter 1. It says, "Be not an hypocrite in the sight of men, and take good heed what thou speakest." So you don't be a hypocrite in the sight of men. Somebody that's a hypocrite say one thing, but their actions say another thing. Their actions show that what they're saying out of their mouth is not lining up together. And you take good heed of what you speak, meaning you're supposed to pay attention. You got to make sure that you're bringing out the truth of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai the right way. You got to rightly divide the word of truth. A lot of these I'm using the word apologetics, but when I say apologetics, I'm talking about all manner of false camp leaders and all, apologetics, but that word does mean something else. I'm using it out of term, I guess. But we'll say apologetics and false teachers, because you have apologetics to the people out of Christians that and the Calvinism and blah 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 blah. But a lot of those are hypocrites in the sight of men. The ones who like to look good while they out there on the highways and the byways, but then their actions show that they don't line up with Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. So that's why it says in verse 29 of Sirach chapter 1, "Be not an hypocrite in the sight of men." Don't be a hypocrite, and make sure that you know what you're talking about when it comes down to these scriptures. You may say a definition of a word wrong, but make sure you right when it comes down to these scriptures. So you gotta practice what you preach. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be a practitioner of what you're saying. Because they say practice makes perfect. You know, that's an old saying, and sometimes it is still used here and there. But I would say practice makes you better at learning. Practice makes you more skilled. But but let's continue. This is verse 30. Exalt not thyself, lest thou fall and bring dishonor upon thy soul. And so Yahweh discover thy secrets and cast thee down in the midst of the congregation, because thou camest not in the truth to the fear of the Lord Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua, but thy heart is full of deceit. So don't exalt yourself. And a lot of cats that exalt themselves and try to put themselves on pedestals and give themselves titles, they don't really practice what they preach, But it says, don't exalt yourself unless you fall, and bring dishonor upon yourself, upon your soul. And that's what's been happening to a lot of these false leaders, these false camp leaders and their followers. They've been exalting themselves and putting themselves on the pedestal and sitting in high spots and places, and they have fallen numerous times and brought dishonor upon themselves. And the Most High has discovered their secrets, meaning the Most High showed the folly of their doings to the congregation of the people of Israel. You know what I'm saying? Because they did not come in the truth. You know what I'm saying? Their hearts were full of deceit, full of lies. They're not practitioners of what they preach. Take the Sakari incident when they was in the strip club doing the Passover. You want to say that was after the Passover, but the Lord, Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua, discovered their secrets, and they was not in the right place. They was not in the right mindset. None of that. Just to show you that the Lord, He'll bust you out. If you're not practicing what you preach, He will show you up. He will discover your secrets. I mean, He will bring you before the congregation of those who are active practitioners of righteousness and trying to go according to the scriptures to the best of your abilities. Of course, we in these chains of darkness, i.e. this flesh. So no, we're not going to get everything perfect, but we try our best. That's why the title of the lesson there, you know what I'm saying, practice what you preach. Meaning, you got to actively do it. You got to make sure you follow the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua. Examining yourself to make sure that you good. As a matter of fact, I'm going to get that. It's a lock here. Let me find it. Like I was saying, practice what you preach, and making sure that you are moving and going according to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua. But this is 2 Corinthians 14:5. It says, examine yourselves whether ye be in the faith. Prove your own selves. Know ye not your own selves how that Yahweh Mashiach is in you, except ye be reprobates. So you got to examine yourself. You got to pay attention to yourself. You got to make sure that you're practicing what you're preaching, that you're practicing what you believe in. When it comes down to these scriptures, you prove yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because we are not our own. For one, because we belong to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua, and you must know this, and you must understand this, and you must make sure that you're practicing. Because if not, you will end up being a reprobate. If you don't examine yourself, you could become a reprobate. You could become useless for Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua, and you can become a non-practitioner of what you're preaching. As I said before, a lot of these false camps, it is what it is. These false camp leaders, they are reprobates. They don't practice what they preach. You know what I'm saying? The same thing with the little Sakari incident. I know it's been old, it's not been a minute, but still nonetheless, the Lord will discover your secrets, and He will set you up. If He'll bust you out before the congregation and show the ones that are truly practitioners or practicing what they preach. He'll show those who are not practicing what they preach, who are non practitioners, who didn't come in the truth, and they're just full of deceit. They make money off the truth, and you're not supposed to do this or make money off of the truth. It is what it is, period. That's a commandment. We don't teach for filthy lucre's sake. It is what it is. Like, it's not the sole purpose of you do this and you get money for this truth. It don't work like that. That's why the Lord tell us to pray for our daily bread. Meaning the Lord give you a job, any kind of job, whether you working on Esau's job or you doing something yourself. The Most High gonna make sure that He give you your daily bread so that you'll be able to provide for yourself in this kingdom. The Most High gonna provide for you so that you'll be able to do for yourself. But nonetheless, be a practitioner of what you're preaching. And we preach Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua, and we preach the truth. So the true men of the Lord are practitioners of what they preach. We may not get everything perfect or everything right, but nonetheless, make sure you're practicing what you preach. Let's go to Sirach chapter 5. I'm going to start at verse 2. It says, "Follow not thine own mind and thy strength to walk in the ways of thy heart." So you don't follow your own mind and your own strength to walk in the ways of your heart, because if you start leaning to your own understanding and following your own mind and not the mind of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, and let's say you're not applying Proverbs chapter 16 verse 3, that could cause you to go left. It could cause you to still think that you're practicing what you're preaching when you're really going contrary to what you're preaching. So you don't follow your own mind. You don't walk in your own strength. You don't follow the ways of your heart, because, the heart is deceitful and desperately wicked and deceitful above all things. Who can know it? Just roughly paraphrasing, though I screwed that up. But the heart is deceitful and desperately wicked, So, like, who can know it? Yahweh Bashim Yahushua knows it. He know our heart, So leaning to your own understanding and following your own mind, your mind will tell you to do something wrong quick, because this is this flesh. This flesh is wicked. We in this flesh, so that's why we have to practice what we preach. We have to be practitioners. We have to make sure that we're actively doing what Yahweh Shah said to do. But let's continue. I'm gonna jump down to verse 9. It says, "Winnow not with every wind, and go not into every way, for so doth the sinner that hath a double tongue." So winnow not with every wind. That's just talking about philosophies, doctrines, and beliefs. Don't get caught up and mixed up in all these different beliefs and stuff, because if you're going into every way, that's what a sinner does, a transgressor. The transgressor that has a double tongue. That's that, and a lot of our people are like that. A double tongue, blessings and curses. They'll be like, "Oh, I love the Lord," but then they'll do something like celebrate a pagan satanic holiday, or they'll get caught up in all these different beliefs and philosophies and religions. So the Lord's saying, winnow not, meaning don't go with every wind of doctrine that you see. Don't go into every way, because the sinner does that and hath a double tongue. So, and a sinner does not practice what he preaches. He practice that sin, but a sinner preaching righteousness, they don't practice righteousness. They don't practice living according to the truth. They practice living according to lies and deceit and sin, transgression of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Verse 10, "Be steadfast in thine understanding, and let thy word be the same." Be steadfast in your understanding. Be solid in Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Be solid in the wisdom, and let your word be the same, meaning line up with the doctrine, line up with the scriptures. Don't put your own flavor, your own twist. Don't try to put your own barbecue sauce, in the food, on the meat. The Lord done already cooked this up and seasoned everything perfectly. And the only thing He doing is teaching us how to cook it like He cook it. So basically, Stay according to the go according to the instructions. You know. But again, you be steadfast in your understanding. You know, and you let your words be the same. Meaning, if you preach, if you're supposed to be preaching the truth and practicing the truth, where you supposed to line up with everybody that believe in Yahweh or Yahweh Shai and preaching the truth and going according to the scriptures as they're supposed to. Verse 11. Now I'm gonna jump down. Verse 13. It says, honor and shame is in talk, and the tongue of man is his fall. See, honor and shame is in talk. You could make yourself to be honored, or you could cause shame upon yourself, and that's in talk. And the tongue of man is his fall. A lot of people, loose lips sink ships. You know that old school saying. So the tongue of man is his fall, and honor and shame is in talk. So if you're not practicing what you preach, and you preaching the truth, and you supposed to be preaching truth, guess what? Well, and it is found out that you're not practicing what you preach, guess what? Well, that talk that you talking has brought shame unto you, and your tongue is going to cause you to fall. But if you are practicing what you preach, guess what? That's going to be an honor unto you. You practicing the words of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. You being a practitioner, you practicing what you preach. That's going to be an honor unto you, because when other people see it and other people hear what you're talking about, they're going to see that you lining up with Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. And if the Lord would have it, they will agree and follow Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. I'm going to hit verse 15. This says, be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or small. So you should never ever be ignorant in anything. You should never ever be ignorant to know that you got to practice what you preach, that you're supposed to go according to the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, as he leadeth you and guides you to bring these scriptures out, and in your everyday walk. Like I said before, you know what I'm saying, we're not going to get it perfect, but the true men of the Lord are practicing what they preach. The real men of the Lord are practitioners of righteousness and truth, you know. But those who don't go according to the scriptures, those who are sinners, they're wavering. They don't practice what they preach. Sirach chapter 6 verse 2. Again, extol not thyself in the counsel of thine own heart, that thy soul be not torn in pieces as a bull straying alone. So again, that word extol means to exalt or to lift up. You don't lift yourself up in the counsel of your own way of thinking. When you start doing that, you're not practicing what you're preaching, because you're not supposed to be prideful. You're not supposed to lift yourself up in your own way of thinking. You know what I'm saying? So that your soul won't get torn to pieces, meaning you won't get busted up by Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, or judged, or get brought down low, or the Lord bust you out and bring shame on you. Just like if it's a bull that's in a herd and it strays off in the wild, and then it's some lions or maybe it's a cheetah or a leopard waiting to tear him to pieces. That's the same thing that'll happen in this truth. So you don't exalt yourself, because exalting yourself will cause you to get bust up. I mean, cause you to get bust out. The Most High show you, like, hey, he's not practicing what he's saying. He's not practicing it. You know. Sirach chapter 7 verse 6. It says, seek not to, verse 5, justify not thyself before the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, and boast not of thy wisdom before the king. So don't try to justify yourself before the Lord, like, hey, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. You know how you justify before the eyes of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua? Being obedient to him, doing this work. You know, and don't boast of the wisdom before the king. Don't boast of the wisdom that you have before Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Or don't even do that. Don't boast of your wisdom even among brethren, among the Akim. Don't even do that. You know. So don't be, you know. Let's continue though. Verse 6. Seek not to be judged, being not able to take away iniquity. So you don't seek to be judge or ruler over something or somebody, and you're not able to take away their iniquity, their immoral standards or living that are contrary to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Lest at any time thou fear the person of the mighty, and lay a stumbling block in the way of thy uprightness. So lest at any time that you fear the person of the mighty, lest at any time somebody come in that the Lord sent in and put you to shame, and then you end up laying a stumbling block in the way of uprightness. Meaning you put a stumbling block down to cause somebody else to fall, cause somebody else to be tripped up and messed up. So again, you gotta make sure you practice what you preach. You gotta make sure. Okay, cool. Let's go to John chapter 13, verse 15. Last point. It says, "For I have given you an example that ye should do as I have done to you." And this is what the Lord is saying. He's saying, I've given you an example. The things that I have done, you should do these exact same things. Meaning, Yahweh Shai practiced what he preached. And Yahweh Shai was saying, I practice what I preach, and you should do the exact same thing. Practice what you preach. Because, every time somebody's preaching something and they're not practicing it, they almost instantaneously or almost instantly get the title of what? Hypocrite. A lot of our people are a bunch of hypocrites. It is what it is. They say one thing and do another. They don't practice what they preach. But again, it says, "For I have given you an example that ye should do as I have done to you." So the Lord saying, the things that I have done to you, the truth that I have given you, the things that I have taught you, walk in it and you practice it. Because Yahweh Shai, he practiced it when he was here. The same thing he done, he want us to do it. So, just make sure you're practicing what you preach. For the true brothers, make sure make sure you good, but for these false camps, these false leaders, practice what you preach. We already know you ain't doing it, but for the true brothers, the true Akim and Akwakim, make sure that you are a practitioner or practicing what is being preached or what you are preaching according to these scriptures. And with that, Shalom.